Hey everyone, Jack Reynolds here. It's funny, in a day and age when most people seem extremely reliant on technology, it's surprising how hesitant and fearful people are of it at the same time. In particular, I've noticed that recently, with the announcement of past years of automated journalism, people are fearful to integrate technology with how we receive our news. However, I find that it is somewhat beneficial, and today I'm going to tell you why. So, give you a little background as to my interest in journalism. I spent many years as a writer for my high school newspaper, 4 years to be exact. And I spent a couple of those years as editor in chief, so I really just enjoyed the process of, finding stories and writing about them and relaying them to the world, or, my small student body. And so my love of journalism kind of comes from my family. I had an uncle who worked as a print journalist for many years, and then I had an aunt who also worked in television journalism. And so it one could see why my family and people in my family might not enjoy automated journalism, as they could see it taking their jobs. However, I don't think that's the case, because if we look at the progression of the relaying of information, in particular news and journalism, it's always been changing. I mean, news started off in, a newspaper newsroom. A lot of writers crammed around typewriters, and then as technology expanded, we were able to do more and relay to more. It moved further, and news was broadcast pretty much on a 24-hour loop starting in 2000. And then it's always just been moving onward. People stopped watching the news and started reading about it online. And so it makes sense that robots and, robotic technology would be used to integrate more info for readers that way. So in looking at, automated journalism itself, it's important to look at how it started, and its origins are pretty recent. And according to an article from Equal Times published on November 27th of 2018 by Maria Crespo, in 2015, the Norwegian news agency NTB started work on a project to generate automated football news coverage, which was launched in 2016. And while they were working on, fixing out the glitches for this robotic journalist, they realized that they could do much more with, its abilities than just report on football. And so, yeah, that's pretty neat. So with that, I'm going to let my buddy Grant take over and teach you a little bit more about the intricacies of automated journalism.
This story was written by a human, but some news organizations want stories to be written by robots instead. With the help of Google's digital news initiative, the UK-based Press Association is building a service called Radar, which stands for Reporters and Data and Robots. As the name suggests, Radar will use reporters and open data sets to help robots write up to 30,000 news stories a month. The service was inspired by a growing demand for accurate fact-based news. Considering the cries and critiques of fake news around the world, this demand doesn't really come as a surprise. And don't worry, despite the focus on artificial intelligence, Radar will still utilize skilled journalists to gather and check some data. Reporters will be responsible for identifying open databases from the government or local authorities. They'll then create story templates for various topics for the robots to fill in, and stories will be automatically produced in multiple versions for different local readerships. The Press Association has spent 9 months working on this project, but it's not the first news organization to utilize artificial intelligence. Both the Associated Press and the Danish news agency Ritzau already automate their stories for short data-driven financial reports. And for the 2016 Rio Olympics, the Washington Post began experimenting with its own robot heliograph.
So, as you can tell from that video featuring Grant, which is a bit outdated, it's from 2017. In looking at more recent data, in particular about Radar, the automated news service Grant mentions, which stands for Robots and Data and Reporters. According to a June 2018 article from the Press Association, now more than 1,000 UK regional news titles now have access to stories jointly written by journalists and AI, thanks to Radar. So I think that's pretty cool. It just kind of shows that, journalists are able to reach audiences more now as a result of this implementation of automated journalism. So I don't think we should be worrisome of automated journalism, as it will spread rumors and fake news. Because at the end of the day, it's people who made it, it's journalists who are working behind it. And so I think, if anything, it just it operates under journalistic integrity, and I don't think it should be any reason for us to worry. If anything, I think it should be something for us to praise. And with that, I leave you, and goodbye.